Hello and welcome to the show at HackSecret5 at ETH Denver. And my guest today is Kristina Bruhahn, who is the CEO and founder of Continuum. So, Kristina, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. We're so happy to be here and help support all of your work at ETH Denver.
No, thank you so much. Okay, so compliance and Web3, this is your thing. Tell me a little bit about how you got into it and what you're doing in general in compliance and Web3, please.
Well, this started all by accident. I wanted to help connect good brands together and was informed by experts in capital markets. You can't do that. You don't have a broker dealer license. And then we started talking about what you could do with a membership in DAOs. And that was way back when it was early days, like 5, 6 years ago now. And with enough consensus among the lawyers, we essentially created a vetting framework to understand what the brand itself is doing at the transaction layer. And it turns out there's only a few components that really vary around that. And so we took that framework to the SEC last year, in mostly so that I could get a gold star and make sure I could create a staking platform for Fortune 500 with a compliance oversight by the SEC, CFTC, Consumer Financial Protection Board, and International Finance Reporting Standards.
There's a lot of terms in there that don't often go in the same sentence.
Well, the data packets can do all of it, so I had to cover the bases.
Wow.
My partners could understand who's sitting across from the table, why should I give them this much money, are they legitimate? So we break it down with tech, team, and intentions. I
Okay.
know what blockchain you're running on. That pretty much tells me a lot about how it's going to interact. And from the SEC side of it, they want to know, is this a utility or a data packet, or are you using it as an investment vehicle or an outright security investment?
Okay.
The other half of that is commodities and data as a commodity. And now we're moving into looking at meme coins instead of just as a meme coin, or a penny stock is how they kind of look at it. Some of those, especially as the real world is moving into digitization, they're going to end up becoming sovereign currencies, and being able to separate out the wheat from the chaff is essentially what I and my data partners are working on, so that we can create a chatbot interface that has trusted data,
Whoa.
so that I don't have to be in the middle of every single conversation.
Every sentence you have has got a whole bunch of things, memes and then chatbots and the. So you mentioned the start of that, the last answer about the Fortune 500. Tell me, so Fortune 500, very Web 2, business companies. How are you working with them?
So I actually started in Fortune 500. So my career had taken me through helping to build the Southern California Edison smart meter project. So when they went from the manual, when a human used to have to go out and collect it, then they had the upgrade where it would just push the data through a cell phone tower. I was there. That was my first exposure to really big data systems.
Mm-hmm.
And then for LA Times, basically when they went from print to digital, I was there. And then I worked with Applebee's and IHOP and their 5,000 franchisees and their data systems there. Back then, we just did data lakes, machine learning, consumer behavior inference, how to get them to buy one more burger that month, because that translated to things. But when I take those same philosophies and we were to apply tokenization and digitization of records, then we're looking at a wallet being the new email, and having a direct relationship with your consumer, and having the direct revenues without third-party middlemen holding onto your data and taking 85% off the top. So it's a new version of commerce.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting with celebrity and luxury brands because they're the ones who can afford us. And basically, their initiatives to take things like a sustainably sourced emerald necklace and pair that with an A-list celebrity and auction it at an event. All of these things start to have capital markets impact, because if you can do that with one necklace, then why couldn't we do it for over here? And suddenly the people are trying to scale their projects, and they're being approached by people who may be malicious. They might throw a lot of money around, but they might not be good for the long-term strategy. And my partners, especially at the Fortune 500 level, they cannot be wrong. There's too much brand reputation on the line for them to have any kind of hiccup.
So you mentioned celebrities. What type of celebrities are you approaching?
So the categories are film, music, comedy, sports, fashion, art, philanthropy. Almost everyone.
Okay. And is there any problem? Because you know how before when celebrities would endorse projects in Web3,
That was a
then
big compliance component.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So how do you get around that? Or how do you solve that problem?
The best way is to not get around it. So if you are doing an endorsement and you are getting paid for that endorsement, the best way is for the celebrity or the influencer to say, I am being compensated for this endorsement.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing would be really great if they did any kind of due diligence and knew if the team was actually worthy of their endorsement.
Mm.
That's a conversation. That's essentially the reporting that I'm aggregating together. And then the impact of it, of did that actually make the influencer a better representative of the digital assets economy? Or did that influencer just rug pull their entire community? We can see all of that on chain. And with our data partners, now Fortune 500 will be able to see that relatively easy as well.
So they'll only partner with celebrities. I'm not going to do rug pulls who have credibility.
The trouble is a lot of celebrities have a lot of greedy people around them who will backdoor. I mean, the social engineering around some of these things. For example, if you look at one of the people that's on my blacklist, they will never work at Continuum, Logan Paul. He has done some really atrocious things and he's proud of it and he has no remorse for it. And so essentially we're keeping that type of mentality away from the network that I've built for 8 years.
You're also very big on analytics. Tell me how that plays into your work.
Well, they call me data points because I've been talking about data science and data attributes for a very long time. We've done quite a few data science projects. We predicted the price of Bitcoin. The landscape is changing now, but the attributes are still there. We just have a lot more institutional adoption now. But basically, the analytic side of AI is hard for a non-AI person to understand. So I'll try and break it down as best I can. When I use ChatGPT, I call it Jarvis, and it helps me be an expert in something I wasn't an expert in 5 minutes ago, right? And so it saves me a lot of time on like, create a 12-week marketing plan, or I need a legal form, right? It can spit something out that would have taken me a long time to learn that skill and learn that knowledge, just spits it right back out. When it comes to vetting partnerships, you almost need a mechanism to build a relationship and build that trust beforehand and then be able to talk to each other and share their secrets. But it needs to be within a private, protected ecosystem so they can share their secrets without any worries that their data is going to go out and like early announcement of a impending token release. Like that's almost insider trading. So we have to protect that data. Basically, this permission data system will allow us to have private conversations with our members and allow them to have a parallel AI intelligence engine where they upload the truth of their company. We call it first-party truth data. And that is what our chatbot and our end users will have an experience of. What is this brand? Why should I trust them? It will be the report they uploaded themselves about what their brand does.
Okay. So you mentioned at the start of our interview about an emerald necklace. So there's a use case here, a company you're working with. Can you tell me about them? The Emerald Company, I think.
Yes. So the Emerald Company is one of our portfolio clients. They are fundraising. So we're here at ETH Denver, collectively raising $100 million between our portfolio members. But the Emerald Company is raising $25 million to set up the mining operations of essentially a $6 billion emerald mine, tokenize it. And it's not just about the emeralds that come out of the ground there. The emerald takes a smart city with them. So wherever the emerald products are is another data set and another type of consumer rewards. And so emeralds are one of the first things that we are brokering between our celebrity and luxury brands.
And the emeralds that you're tokenizing, are they in the ground or already mined?
They're in the ground right now. 4 months from the time that we are funded, we'll start the supply chain. And this is the first time that emeralds have ever been categorized like diamonds have. It doesn't exist in the world yet. My guys have fixed that problem.
Interesting. I like emeralds.
It'll be the first time the world has ever had an emerald supply chain that can be pre-ordered at the sizes that they need for products to go out to the world.
Well, being Irish, I approve. What can I say? So Kristina Bruhahn, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me and talking about data.
Thank you.